All right, what's going on, YouTube? This is James with DadLord343. Today we're going to be talking about one of my only service weapons from World War II, and that's going to be the British Lee Enfield. It's going to be Mark or number 4, Mark 1. Yeah, sorry, I always get it confused. I'll call it a Mark 4 or number 3 or number 2 or whatever. But anyway, let's get into it. Yes, so basically the story with this weapon is that I got it from a coworker. Actually, at the time, I was looking into auctions online. I actually had a bid on like I think 3 or 4 of these different weapons on an online auction on Proxy Bid. If anybody's ever used Proxy Bid, please let me know below. But I had I think 3 or 4 different bids on different of these models from just this random auction that I was online. I told one of my coworkers about it, and he was like, "Oh, okay." He was like, "I got a Lee Enfield too." I was looking for one. I just wanted something from World War II, whether it was an M1 Grand, a Lee Enfield, some sort of Western rifle, a Car 98, but I'm sure those are worth a lot more. But so yeah. Anyway, I was in that auction. I thought that I was a shoe in to get one of them, but of course, I watched the auction, and then eventually they all went well over $1,000. I was like, "Oop, I'm out. That's way out of my price range." But I told my coworker about it, and he was like, "Oh, well, I got one that I'll sell you." I said, "Okay, that's great. How much are you thinking for?" And he was like, "I'll take two." I'm like, 2,000? And he's like, "No, 200. That's what I paid for it in the 90s." I was like, "What? Whoa!" $200 for a Lee Enfield, even though it's not in the best condition, it had a little bit of rust on it or whatever. $200 was still insane. So I ended up giving him 280 for it because I felt bad. I didn't want to just take it for 200, so I did 280 just to make it a little bit better for him. But he told me he would take 200 for it because that's what he paid in the 90s. But so I got this weapon from him. It came with a little bit of 303 British, I think, surplus from World War II. Yeah, and it's been a really cool weapon. This weapon was a big part of my personality for a long time. I really enjoy it. I think it's a cool rifle. Yep, you can feel the hammer drop right there. You can kind of pull back on the striker. Yeah, ejects the fake round right there, but it's really tough too. I think some of these strikers are actually serrated, but we will go tip to butt, or actually we'll go butt to tip just talking about it. So we got our metal butt plate back here, and actually this Lee Enfield was made in 43, I believe. I looked it up. And this was actually one of the last ditch effort Lee Enfields. The Germans were flying overhead London during World War II, bombing the crap out of them, and they were basically trying to churn out guns as fast as possible. So they took a lot of the frills and details out of this, and this was just a bare bones. They were like, "Hey man, we're about to be invaded by the Germans. We need to put guns in men's hands as quickly as possible." So this is one of the weapons that was made to be put in a soldier's hand as quickly as possible. So it cuts a lot of corners. I'm not 100% sure what the difference between this weapon and other Lee Enfields are. But if you want to look into that, I would watch Ian McCollum. Forgotten Weapons has a great video on that. But yeah, just going back here, we've got a metal butt plate. There goes my mic. Sorry about that, everyone. Technical difficulty. But we got a metal butt plate with a storage compartment back here for you to put your candy, extra ammo, cleaning kit, things like that. I guess not extra ammo, but cleaning kit. I don't know, your cigarettes, whatever you want to put in there. Going forward, we got a wood grip. This grip feels really thick too. It's, I mean, I have like regular size hands, I feel like, and this grip is just, it's pretty thick on them. We got our trigger. Trigger feels okay. It's not the best, but apparently with these, you can cycle them extremely fast. The action is just very buttery compared to like something like a Mosin Nagant or other World War II era weapons. So the action, and if you ever looked up a Mad Minute with these, apparently you can, they have dudes, they sit there and they shoot them just as quickly as possible, and they're getting crazy amounts of shots off accurately in 1 minute. That's why they call it the Mad Minute. And I don't know what the world record is. Maybe it's like 60 or 30 or something. It's a crazy amount of ammo being put down range accurately with a bolt action rifle. But we've got our rear aperture peep sights. From my understanding, these are very crude compared to a regular Lee Enfield. But since this is a last ditch effort model, they were like, "Hey, we need something. As long as it's somewhat accurate, we're gonna just throw it, push it out to service." The action is buttery smooth as you would expect. Moving forward, we've got the 10 round magazine. of 303 British, and it is detachable, and I will show you that right here. You got a little thing, but a little button right here in the trigger guard. But what you should not do is what I did when I first got this rifle is I pulled out the magazine, I slammed it back in with the bolt closed. Look at that, that's pretty cool. I love that spring action bolt. If you uncock it when it hasn't been fired yet. But basically, I slammed this magazine in, I bent the feed lips on it. So this rifle did not feed correctly for the first few weeks when I had it because I bent the feed lips like a not so smart person.
All right, ready.
3, 2. Let's see if I can figure out how to get this back in like a not so smart person. There we go. So I just put it back in. The bolt was back, so no feed limp should have been bent in the process of doing that. Yeah, so 10 round 303 British magazine. 303 British is a big round if you haven't seen it. Going forward, we've got our wooden grip up here and our very long barrel. This is like a 20 something inch barrel, 24-inch barrel, give or take. We got our muzzle device up here. It's not really a muzzle device. It's really nothing. It's just a bayonet attachment point. You've got your front sight here with the 2 hoods on the side of it to protect it, the 2 wings to protect it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, this was the bread and butter of the British Empire, the workhorse for, I mean, the Lee Enfield. I don't know how many different variations of it were in service in England, but I do know this was the British workhorse for a very long time, and they utilized the crap out of this throughout British history. So yeah, I just think it's a pretty neat piece. It definitely is one of the cooler pieces in my collection. I'd love to get more World War II stuff. If you or anybody you know is selling World War II weaponry pretty cheap, let me know. Drop me a comment, drop me a DM on LinkedIn. I was about to say drop me a DM on LinkedIn, but drop me a DM on YouTube or a comment or whatever. If you've got any cheap World War II surplus, I'd be interested in Mosins, M1 Grands, M1 carbines, anything like that. Even some handguns, maybe, if they're depending on the price. I mean, I can't pay thousands of dollars for a 1911 like a lot of these collectors out here can, but you know, just if you've got something and you want to sell it, just let me know. I could be interested. If not, yeah, then just thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you got any questions or comments about this, just let me know. But yeah, this is my Lee Enfield. I enjoy it a lot, and it's a great gun. I'm glad to have it. I'm glad to have a good piece of World War II memorabilia in my collection. As always, thank you so much, everybody. God bless. Have a great day. Thank you.